Hey everyone, I hope you are ready to see some tricks on how to improve your calligraphy in Arabic. By now, I assume you already know all the letters of the alphabet and also short and long vowels. The first thing you need to avoid is writing everything in straight lines, unless of course you are using a specific type of calligraphy, such as the Kufic style. You have to avoid writing in straight lines as much as possible, both in words and letters. If you want your words to be graphically pleasing, you have to respect proportions. It doesn't have to be perfect, but at least it shouldn't be too uneven. In general, you can use the letter alif if it's in the word, for reference. For example, most of the letters like ba, ta, tha, jim, ha, kha, qaf, ta, etc. go at this height, and the letters dal and dal at this height. The width of the letters depends on their position in the word. It is not the case for all letters. But for example, the width of the letter ba in its initial position is half of the same letter in isolated position. Another trick to know is always write in whole blocks of letters, not letter by letter, unless of course the word requires it. Writing in blocks is easy to assimilate. A block is the writing part of the body of the letters from when we start writing until a letter or the end of a block forces us to pick up the pen and jump to the next letter to write something else. For example, in the word al-mutawajidun, if we write it in blocks, we divide the word into parts. First, we start with alif and we have to lift the pen to continue writing. The second part is a whole block of 4 letters: lam, mim, ta, and waw, without lifting the pen from the beginning to the end. Then we have the letter alif, then a block of 2 letters, jim and dal. We have the letter waw, and at the end the letter noon. Another example, a shorter word this time, jibalun. The word jibalun has 2 parts. The first part is a block of 3 letters, jim, ba, and the long vowel alif. The second part is only 1 letter, the letter lam. When writing, you have to respect the order of things. We will always start with the body of the letter and then, secondly, the points of the letter if the letter requires points, and then the shadda accent if the letter needs a shadda, and finally the diacritics. For example, in the 3 letters verb mathala, we write it in a whole block. We will start first with the body of the letters and write them all at once. Then we put the dots above the letter tha, then shadda above the dots, and finally the diacritics. Another example. The word kadhabun has 3 blocks. The first block consists of 2 letters, kaf and dhal, then alif, and the last letter ba. Then we put the dots. After the dots, there is a shadda in the letter dhal. And to finish, we put the diacritics. It is highly recommended to avoid sharp corners when writing letters in Arabic. Most of the time, letters are formed by joining curved lines and very few sharp corners. For example, many people write the letter ba, ta, tha this way. But the trick is just soften the corners. For example, ba like this to make it look more curved. The position of the diacritics above or below the letters adds harmony to the overall calligraphy. That is why you always have to place them correctly. Diacritics follow the vertical line of the dots of the letters, up or down. It doesn't have to be precise, and nothing happens if they move a little to the sides. The trick is to always try to place them centered with the dots. And if there is no dots in the letter, place them in the middle of the letter. You should also tilt the diacritics. Try not to write them straight. In this part, we are going to see some letters that are written wrong. Well, to be honest, it's not entirely wrong, but personally, I don't like them that way. The letters jim, ha, kha, which are written like this. I prefer to avoid writing them this way and write them correctly. Another example, the letters sad, dad, ta, and dha. Sad, dad, ta, and dha. The letters ayn and ghayn. Ayn, ghayn. The letter mim. The letter ha in the middle of the word. The two combined letters lam and alif. To finish this list, we will see the difference between the hamza and the mini kaf, which is found in the letter kaf in its isolated position. It is true that it looks like the hamza, but in reality, it is a small kaf written quickly. In calligraphy, people take the time to write it all, but when we are writing normally, we write the mini kaf quickly, so it comes out like this. Thanks for watching and keep practicing. Goodbye. مع السلامة.